The Writing Process, Part 1. There are 4 main parts to the writing process: pre-writing, writing, revising, and editing. Generally, you will move through these stages in this order, starting with pre-writing and ending with editing. The first stage in any writing project is always pre-writing. During this stage, you will engage in all types of activities that prepare you for writing the first draft of the writing project. Pre-writing activities include everything from deciding on a topic and a working thesis, to research, to brainstorming main points, to outlining or making a cluster web. Different people approach this step differently. Some do it all on paper or the computer, while others do a lot of it in their heads. Some of these pre-writing activities are fairly self-explanatory, like picking a topic. Others you're probably familiar with, like brainstorming or outlining. We will try out various pre-writing and invention activities during our class. The important thing with any activity is to try it out, but not to get hung up on the details of any one approach to pre-writing. For example, if you choose to outline, you can use the most formal style of creating an outline, or you can create a rough outline, whatever works best for you in terms of organizing your ideas. Some pre-writing activities might be brand new to you, such as free writing or creating a cluster web. When you free write, you sit down and just start writing, and you force yourself to keep writing for a set amount of time. The one rule of free writing is that you keep writing during that time period, and the period can be as short as 2 or 3 minutes or as long as half an hour or more. 5 minutes is a good time frame when you're first starting to free write. During the writing time, however, don't worry about grammar or finding a perfect word. Put down a good enough word and when you get stuck, and keep moving. If you need to abandon a sentence or thought midway through to chase down a different idea, that's fine too. Cluster webs are another pre-writing activity with which you may or may not be familiar. Cluster webs, also sometimes called mind mapping, are similar to outlines, but they are less linear and more visual. Write your topic in the middle of the page and draw a circle around it. Then, around that circle, write other connected ideas. Keep writing clusters of ideas and drawing lines to connect them. It's fine if your web isn't as neat looking as this model. The point here is to help you organize your ideas and identify connections between them. These are not the only activities you can do in the pre-writing stages. There are many others, and anything that helps you figure out what you're going to put in your first draft falls under the category of pre-writing. The second step in the writing process is where you write your first draft. This can be as long or as short as you need it to be, although obviously longer is usually better because you have more ideas down to start with and you get more feedback on your draft when there's more to it. But the writing stage helps you get those ideas that you generated during pre-writing down on paper. At this point, don't worry about the draft being perfect, but do feel free to go back and change things around, rewrite words, and run spell check at this stage. While the real work of revising your draft is yet to come, it's important to do the basics of composing, like running spell check, so that when someone else looks at your draft, they can focus on the content and give you the most useful feedback. Here are some tips for writing your draft. Write a little bit at a time. While it's tempting to block out 6 hours the night before an assignment to sit down and write the whole thing, the best essays are written over time. If you designate an hour for writing on a few different days leading up to your deadline, it won't be as stressful trying to get the draft done all at the last minute, and you'll likely have a stronger draft too. You don't have to write your paper in the order that it will end up in. That means you don't have to write the introduction first and the conclusion last. A lot of times, writers who think they have to write the paper in order get hung up because they can't think of the perfect introduction. So they sit staring at a blank page or a blank screen, waiting for inspiration to come until they have that perfect intro and then move on. The idea that you have to write one part of the paper before another is a lie we tell ourselves when we don't want to write. When you find yourself facing such a block, take a step back and refocus your energy by switching to writing about a different part of the paper. Also, follow what I like to call the Nike rule. Just do it. In other words, just sit down and write. We are all master procrastinators who can sit down to write and then decide we need a drink of water. Or we need to check our email or Facebook quickly. Or we need to text something to a friend before we forget. Or you get the idea. Don't let yourself become distracted in this way. Just start writing. A draft can be revised. A blank page cannot.